So here we have Justin, who is one of our window tinners and paint protection film experts. He's also our primary lead window tint installer. Justin is installing Ceramic Pro KAVACA window film on this Tesla Model 3. You can see here we've got the plotter cut windows that are now being heat shrunk while they're on the outside of the glass. Justin's going to start his cleaning procedure for the inside of the glass. You'll see him pick up the typical white scrub pad to try and agitate whatever's on the surface. He'll take his stainless steel razor at a 45-degree angle, scrape the glass clean, take his additional squeegees, run it through the gasket to make sure the gasket is super clean, and he'll push that window away so he can get the film inside of it below the gasket line. You'll see now Justin's lining up the film. He's going to squeegee out that slip solution. He's going to continue to align the film along the edges, and he just sprayed a alcohol solution so that way the tacking takes place with the film when he squeegees out. Now he's going to kind of go around the edges and make sure that they're all sealed and make sure that it looks clean. He's going to clean the outside of the glass so he can get a better look at it. He's happy with it after he makes some minor adjustments. So he'll move on to the front door. He'll pull the shrunk piece of film off the glass, and he'll begin his cleaning procedure on the glass, scrubbing all the edges, scraping the glass clean. We use stainless steel razor blades to ensure that we don't scratch the glass, and we always do it at a 45-degree angle. Here you can see Justin swiping the interior gasket along the front to get it as clean as possible. Justin is very OCD when it comes to cleanliness on the glass. You'll see now Justin lays the film up on the glass without touching the adhesive side of the film. He's gonna now align the film in various areas to make sure that everything is aligned properly. He's going to squeegee out majority of that slip solution. He's going to do some more alignments along the bottom, making sure to get out all that moisture. It's important to get all the moisture out so that the film locks in place and doesn't peel up later. You can see here Justin is pretty meticulous about how he does windows. You'll see him here continuing to go over the edge. We like to put up shaved edges on all of our frameless glass, especially Tesla. It gives a super clean look, and it ensures that you get complete coverage with no gaps. So Justin is very particular when it comes to how glass looks. He's been doing it for a while. Now you'll see here Justin will get in and out of the car to clean up this quarter window a bunch of times. He's gonna file down some of the dot matrix surrounding it to try and get it as clean as possible, so that way it is super clean. You'll see he pulls the backer off, sprays the film without touching the adhesive side. He lays it into the window, and now he's gonna get in and out a few more times to kind of adjust it and get it to where it needs to be. He'll spray his alcohol tack to get it super clean and laid down. Justin uses a bunch of various squeegees for those hard to reach places like that. And again, Justin's very meticulous, so he will spend a ton of time trying to get out all the extra slip solution. Here you can see the first go around with this piece of rear glass. The heat shrink did not do what Justin wanted it to do, so he pulled it off and he put a bulk piece of film on the glass and then trimmed it to fit. so that way he didn't need to go back to the plotter and cut out a new piece. Don't worry, hand trimming is just as good as plotter cut, although it may not be for frameless windows. Justin is pretty good at it. He's been doing it for quite a while. He's going to continue to shrink this glass so that way that it fits properly on the inside. You cannot install window film without shrinking. It will not lay on the window the way that you think it will. And you also have to be careful that you don't melt the window film while you're heat shrinking it as well. It's like a fine balancing act here. So you'll see here now Justin is going to continue. He actually went and got another piece of film for this back window. He wasn't happy with the shrink again, so he did it one more time. So now Justin is going to continue his prep process. He's going to re-shrink this new piece of film. Arguably, the heat shrinking is the most important part of a window tint installation to ensure proper fitment. And if you don't shrink film properly, you will end up with fingers or little air pockets, and the film will ultimately come off of the vehicle. Typically, we will remove door panels to install film. We didn't have to do that on Teslas, at least not most of the time we don't, because of their frameless nature. We can just apply a little pressure and gain access to below the gasket without having to disassemble. And ultimately, the less that we can disassemble a vehicle, the better. Now, this is a really important part of why you come to us for tint. We are going to disassemble the rear part of the vehicle for the rear window. It is a very big piece of film, and to get it to lay down properly, it requires these rear B-pillars of the interior to be disassembled, and a couple of electrical connectors need to be removed, and some electrical components also need to be covered. This is something that you should only allow a shop that knows what they're doing to do. The Tesla componentry is very delicate, and it will often break just for no reason at all because there's low quality plastics used, and that's okay. Tesla's a mass production vehicle, so that's something to be expected. You'll see now Justin jumps back in. He's got the blue painter's tape, which is going to be low residue and low lint leaving. He's going to cover all the sensitive electrical components with that tape because we're going to be spraying slip solution and alcohol and things like that on the inside. So now Justin is going to start the shrink process for the back window. Justin likes to use the baby powder method, so he'll lay down some baby powder on that back window to allow the film to slide around and stay frictionless. So Justin uses a bunch of different techniques to ensure that this gets shrunk properly. He's going to trim the window accordingly first, and we do that by carefully dragging a razor blade around the back window. And he's going to go all the way around, trim it. So now Justin is going to continue to try and get the film secure so he can start to shrink it. He will partially lock the film in place so that it doesn't move around. Now you can see Justin start the heat shrink process. He has an adjustable heat gun that he sets to his very specific temperature and uses a hard card and a wrap glove to slide his hand on the film in a frictionless manner. Shrinking this back window is quite obvious, is quite honestly the hardest part of this entire installation before installing the rear window. This is a very lengthy process and is often, sometimes we will do a rear window twice, maybe even 3 times, because the shrink is that difficult. Sometimes the film doesn't do what you want it to do and you have to do it again. So you can see here Justin is going to continue to work his way around the window, and there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. The way that Justin's doing it here, he's been doing it a while, so it's his preferred method. There are guys who will just follow a specific H pattern in terms of how to heat shrink a rear window, or they'll use a fabric softener method underneath versus the baby powder. Ultimately, it comes down to installer preference. There's no real, cut and dry way to do window film, but there is a professional and unprofessional way to do it. So you'll see Justin's going to continue to work through the process here and continue to shrink the window. Here around the edges is where it's most important, and that's why Justin takes his time to ensure that it's shrunk properly, because that's where fingers will appear. And in this vehicle, if you get fingers along the edges of the film, you can't get the squeegee along the film in that area, because after the interior is reassembled, the edges of the film are underneath those plastic pillars on the inside. So it's extremely important that the film be properly shrunk all the way around. We install the Ceramic Pro KAVACA CS and IR films here at Ceramic Pro Pottstown. We service our general area: Collegeville, Devon, Phoenixville, Pottstown, Westchester, Malvern, King of Prussia, the Great Valley. We service a whole wide range of area, and customers come to us for this specific film. The KAVACA film is safety rated, so it will help keep your glass together in the event that you get into an accident and the glass breaks. So that'll prevent flying shrapnel from flying either into your face or your eyes, or into somebody else inside the vehicle. And it's also rated for anti-theft, so if somebody smashes your window, they're going to have a hard time getting through the window, because all the glass is going to stay intact because it's all attached to the actual window film. The Ceramic Pro CS and IR KAVACA films also come with a lifetime warranty, and so you don't need to worry about purpling and fading and delamination, things like that. All those are covered under Ceramic Pro's KAVACA warranty. And the Ceramic Pro IR and CS film have great heat rejection properties. The CS film has about on an average 70% UV heat rejection rating, whereas the IR film has a 92 to 99% IR heat rejection rating. So the IR film is probably the best on the market in terms of heat rejection. It's pretty beefy, and we've been installing this on Teslas for quite a while. We haven't found another film that truly looks better than this. We really enjoy using the KAVACA film. So here you're going to see Justin jump into the back here. The window is so big you kind of have to lay on your back to get it clean. Justin will take his bulldozer squeegee with the white scrub pad and scrub the whole window. Now he'll take various squeegees and squeegee the glass clean. You'll see he takes the squeegee and wipes it off several times. That's to ensure that you're not taking dirt that you've picked up along the edge and then drag it across the film. So now you can see here Justin doing the one-man unroll. This is the most difficult part of the whole tint job. You kind of have to lay back, unroll the film, and let it fall on top of you. And now you've got to kind of manipulate the film through the rest of the installation process. Just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for watching. If you have a Tesla that you're picking up here locally and you're interested in getting it tinted, please don't hesitate to give us a call, 484-854-1447, or visit us at totaldetailingpa.com. Bye.